Alright guys, there it is. My unopened Sauvage Parfum. There is the Zoopy tattoo, just in case you think that somebody has stolen my voice and is pretending to be me, like happens every other week. Let's get it unboxed, shall we? I'm going to lean in here, see if I can get this sticker off. Yep, there we go, that's one bit off there. Sorry if my arms are in the way. I'll clear it out the way for you in a second. Push that out like that. Out it comes. Hopefully I might have to tear the plastic a little bit. Didn't really want to, but don't want to come out. The plastic is off. Throw that down there. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's late, and sorry if you're a bit tired, but I'm Super Goggins and I'm excited to share what I have just acquired. So first of all, we had Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette. Loud, brash, young, bright, strong, slightly annoying, but extremely, extremely popular. I only have a sample of this one. I have never found the need to actually buy it for myself. I don't need to go far to smell this one. It's a very, very popular and lots of people wear it. Bright, crisp, energetic, citrusy, masculine, aquatic, ambroxan filled, slightly sweet. Loudness. Everybody knows about it. Massive, massive seller. Then we had the Eau de Parfum, which I do have. I'll get this out here. I'm going to do a little comparison for you as well with these two, because with these three in fact, because that's what this video is about. Give a little spray of this one here. I'm going to put them on skin in a bit. With the Eau de Parfum, we have the backbone of the original. It retains a lot of the character. It's still bright, energetic, crisp, masculine, all of those things, and a tiny bit annoying, but less so because it's been smoothed out with some vanilla. It's just chilled out in general. It's got some spices added to it, so it's a bit more refined, but it does retain that really bombastic kind of nature. The sillage in it is tamed in a tiny bit, but on me still absolutely nuclear, this one. Honestly, it's beyond me. I can really easily overspray this one. And I do like it. So while that one does retain a lot of the characteristics of the first one, the Eau de Toilette, it's been altered and changed and dragged in a little bit and reined. It's like somebody told the teenager to stop shouting and chill out, and maybe the teenager has started to maybe grow a little bit of stubble, you know. The first one, to me, the Eau de Toilette, is a bit like, you know, a teenager who likes the music in JD Sport, that kind of thing, you know. Drastically annoying, thinks it knows everything. This one is like the teenager that's just grown up a little bit, decided that JD Sport's not the place to be, but still a little bit clubby and still thinks they know everything, but they're still, you know, it's kind of youthful and slightly immature, that kind of thing, but more towards the mature end of things. So definitely, for me, a big improvement, and I do like this one, and I do own it. So, right, I just have the sample of the Eau de Toilette, and I own the EDP. So we had the Eau de Toilette, and then we had the EDP, and now we have, correction, now I have Dior Sauvage Parfum. I happen to have acquired this a few days ago, so I'm in a slightly privileged position of having worn it for a few days. The bottle, which I often take the mickey a little bit of people who go into lots of detail about the bottles and stuff, it's their prerogative and people do their videos how they want to, is a tiny bit different. The Parfum bottle is a little bit smaller. It's noticeably smaller. The diameter is smaller and the height is smaller. It's very difficult to see. They look almost identical, but I'll include some pictures that show the differences. The glass inside the Parfum one, it's not as thick on the bottom, and I think maybe the glass is a bit thinner, something like that. So the capacity is still the same amount whilst having a smaller bottle. Also, the bottle on the Parfum is much darker. It's almost verging on black there. If I don't know whether you can see that, but this one is much darker. And the writing on it is a sort of silverish rather than a white. It's kind of silver, and also the CD on the top is silver as well, and the writing on the box. And the box is almost black. I think it might be a really dark blue, but it looks almost to me black. So, the smell itself. I have it dried down on this arm here. So this morning, this is about 8-9 hours ago, I put it all the way up this arm here. So it's dried down on my forearm, and I'm going to put a little bit fresher on the back of my hand here. Usual extremely good quality Dior sprayer. Then just for comparison's sake right now, I'm going to put a little bit of the Eau de Parfum on the other side, because this side is bare and doesn't have anything on it. Fantastic. So, I'm just going to let them dry a little bit. Otherwise, you know, the usual thing which I've explained before or I've mentioned before is otherwise it's just going to be alcohol vapours and chemicals straight up the nose, which is, you know, those days are behind me. I don't do it on purpose to myself anymore, okay? In a little wave like that, in my chicken wings. And I think we're probably safe to go in for a smell now. Now, I'm going to smell the Parfum first, just to remind myself what it's like when it first goes on. Right. The initial opening does retain a lot of the character, that DNA of Sauvage, where it smells citrusy and sweet, and it's got that sort of slight aquatic and Broxton thing, but it's really tamed back on this. In the dry down, in the opening, it is still there. It does have that bright Sauvage-y thing a bit, but it's dampened, it's tamed, and it's brought back a lot. Now I'm going to smell this one just for comparison again. Whereas this one, it's a lot brighter in the opening. It's more towards the EDT, the Eau de Toilette. This one here, it's a lot brighter. It's got that very sort of aldehydic kind of almost metallic and light blue aquatic nature to it. Whereas this one, it's a bit more refined. And now already, that the shower gel aspect of this one that people go on about, that's in the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum, although toned down in the Eau de Parfum one, is almost completely removed from the Eau de Parfum. So you're getting that kind of citric, slightly vanillic. I don't even think there's vanilla in this one. I'm not absolutely sure. I don't think there is. But there's a sweetness in here, which it smells almost like a natural sweetness. I can't say that it's sugary. I can't say that it's honeyed, and I can't say that it's ambery. It almost smells like the kind of sweetness that would naturally develop in some kind of wood sap or resin or something like that. There's ambery. Okay. I'm going to put the notes up here because I haven't memorised them, but I'm just giving you what I can tell, what I'm getting from the actual smell itself. Okay. So the Eau de Parfum, I mean, you guys all know it, don't you? I mean, most of you do. For those of you do, you'll know the comparisons that I'm making, and for those of you that don't, it's like a slightly tamed. The Eau de Parfum on this side is like a slightly tamed back version of the Eau de Toilette with a slightly spicy aspect and a slightly sort of vanillic thing going on. Now this one, and it will start to dry down now, right? Is right that kind of childish, loud, slightly obnoxious thing is just not there. It's much more woody. The spices, it has got a slightly spicy aspect, but the Eau de Parfum spiciness is kind of like an anise kind of oriental kind of spicy thing, you know. Whereas this spiciness, it's almost like a dry, plain. I think there's Sichuan pepper in this, and it's a lot plainer. It's more flat, and it's kind of got an earthy aspect to it. It's dry and a little bit dusty, very, very woodsy. And it's got a sweetness that's a kind of hard for me to describe. It's not a bubblegum sweetness at all. That bubblegum aspect is gone completely. That loud brash thing is gone completely. The bubblegum and the shower gel is almost completely and utterly gone. It does have that kind of bergamot kind of thing, so it's citric, and it is a little bit citric. But to me, the dry down is already, it's not begun, obviously, because it's only been on there for a few minutes, and it's really, really oily, by the way. I don't even know if you can see that. Possibly if I move my hand around, you might catch a little glint in the light there. But it's really, really, really oily. So is the other one, actually, but that's probably just a characteristic of the fragrances. They're very oily and high, and the oil content is high. Let me describe to you the difference between it when it's freshly sprayed on and when it's dried down, because this one is like literally, like I said earlier on, it's about 8 hours ago, possibly 9 hours that I put this one on. And when it's dried down, it's miles away. It's really far away from either of the two original Sauvages. It's hardly even comparable. You wouldn't even think it's in the same family as the Eau de Toilette. This one, the Eau de Parfum, you can catch a little essence of it here. There's background smells of it in there, but it's morphed. This dry down, it's utterly different. It's predominantly woodsy. Now, I'm not a notes expert by any means, and I'm particularly not very good with different types of woods. I can tell when it's woody, but this one is obviously, from the notes and stuff, it's a sandalwood, but I wouldn't know that. It just smells woody to me. But the sweetness that it develops, it's kind of like, that's what I described earlier on, isn't it? It's almost like the sap of wood. It smells to me like that kind of, freshly cut wood when it's got that kind of stuff oozing out, that kind of natural woody sweetness. It's also very earthy, a sort of almost a slightly muddy smell, but dry, not like a wet mud, like a dry mud. But such a thing does exist. And there's a grassy kind of smell, almost like things with vetiver in. I don't think vetiver is listed as a note, but I'm getting a note very akin to something vetiver-ish in here. Excuse me. It's warm. And it's just quite plain. To me, it's all about the woods in this one. It's so straight-laced that it's difficult to really go, it smells of this, and this, right? To me, it's just a warm, cosy, woody, dusty, almost dry and sweetish smell. It's quite hard for me to actually to categorize any notes in it. It's blended really, really well. It's just a smell. Going back to this one. This one, I know it's only a few minutes, but this one is still retaining all of that Sauvage DNA, that characteristic thing that we all know. This one is miles away from that. I'm going to smell this where I put it on just like a few minutes ago now, again. And it's already turning into this. It's still got a bit of this, but it's going away now. That kind of that aspect, the Sauvage classic thing. So, not really a great deal more I can say about it, because it's kind of still first impressions. What I can say is I'll give you some information about the performance as well, or my experience of the performance rather than information.
Yes, I'll give you some information about the performance.
I'll give you my interpretation of the performance. Right, the first one I know because I had a few of these samples and I've worn it before. It is verging on obnoxious, isn't it? The Eau de Toilette. If you put too much of that on, it's everyone around you in the radius in the county is going to know that you've got it on, aren't they? I mean, I can. It's one of the most characteristic smells. I can tell when people are wearing it. And people come into the store and I go, "You're wearing Sauvage." Eau de Toilette. The Eau de Parfum, on me, has absolutely stunning performance, but as long as I don't overspray it, it's quite good and I like how it behaves. This one, anybody who's hoping for it to be a beast like either of the other two may be in for a disappointment. But anybody who likes the smell of Sauvage but thinks that it's too over the top in its performance is maybe well going to like this one, because it sits really close, really, really close. It does not project massively at all. It's very, very close to the body, very, very close scent. in my experience so far, it's not loud and obnoxious in its performance. It doesn't bounce off the skin like the other two do. It does stay really close. But the longevity is excellent. Like, I sprayed it on the night before last when I first got it, and I could still clearly smell it in the morning, and I can still see the sort of slick a little bit. It's possibly almost too oily. The kind of thing where if you put it on a white t-shirt, it's probably going to make a stain. So it smells very good quality, it has to be said. It does, obviously it's going to be good quality, isn't it? Dior make great quality stuff always. And it's very nice, and I'll let you know that my wife really, really likes it. I'm on the fence about it and which one I prefer. I mean, the Eau de Toilette I quite like, but I don't need a bottle of that. I mean, I might eventually get one because, you know, I do that kind of thing. I go, I haven't got it, so I need it, right? This one, it's extremely nice, but if somebody was to press me right now to say which one I prefer out of all three, it would be the Eau de Parfum. That could be subject to change, and I thought I'd leave this video fairly short. I hope it is. I kind of lose track of how long it's been. I go, this is a short one and it's been a quarter of an hour, but I think this has been a bit less than that, so hopefully it has. Hopefully this has given you a bit of information on whether you want to go out and buy it or not. In conclusion, I can say that it's beautiful. It's a lovely, lovely smell. It really is, but it's quite far away from either of the other two. And it's deep and woody and rich, masculine, and a lot more mature smelling than either of the other two. It's really, it's a chilled and refined and relaxed kind of thing. The kind of thing you could put a couple of sprays in your chest and go to the dentist and nobody's going to faint. You know what I mean? And get in a car in someone else's car and they're not going to be like, oh, what have you done? So that has been my findings so far. I'll probably do a full review at some point, although this has almost been one, hasn't it, really? So, anyway guys, like if you like, comment if you wanna, subscribe if you would, press the little notifications thing, and it just remains for me to say, safe man, chill out, enough respect, and I will catch you next time. Sweet.